winning games. I mean, we've had this conversation. You have people ringing up and saying, "Oh, it's great in the championship because we're winning games week in, week out." But the main objective is to win games in this league so you can get back into the top league and play against the top sides in the country. You know, that's the main objective.
It's great for a season, isn't it, Ando?
If it's just a season. It's great if it's only for a season.
Yeah, because there are some teams that have had more than one season and don't look like ending their spell in the championship anytime soon.
I think if you leave it for longer than the season, it then becomes a little bit more difficult to get back out of it, to be quite honest. But I think we've got a big enough squad. We've got enough quality to be able to get out of this division for the first time I'm asking. But in saying that, there's still an awful lot of football to be played. We've still got to do the right things, but it's gone along nicely at the moment.
Yeah, certainly is.
Chris, thank you very much for phoning BBC Newcastle. Total Sport will be back tomorrow evening at 5:30 with Simon Pride, John Anderson and Marco Gabbiadini, so you can ring us about tonight's game and about Sunderland tomorrow on BBC Newcastle. And if you want to send us some messages throughout the game tonight, tweet at BBC Newcastle, text 81333, just start the message with the letters BBC, and Friday will be back at half time and then again full time to read some of those out and put some of your messages to Ando. Good evening from Matthew Racebeck at Oakwell. Best wishes to Mick Lowe's, our regular Newcastle United commentator, who's not too well, but hopefully back with us at the weekend. The Newcastle team shows 3 changes from the 11 that started against Brentford at St James's on Saturday. And really, the changes come in the areas of the team that you would expect. The back 5 is the same. Carl Darlow in goal. Bernard Anita, Jamal Lascelles, Kieran Clark and Paul Dummett. Matt Ritchie returns to the side. He'll play wide right. John Joe Shelby, almost a certain starter now, plays in midfield. Isaac Hayden has come in for Jack Colback in the middle. Johan Gouffran keeps his place on the left. Mo Diarmi returns and he is behind Dwight Gale. So Hayden, Diarmi and Ritchie, the players, back in. Perez, Atsu and Colback drop out. Those 3 are on the bench, along with Alexander Mitrovic, DeAndre Yedlin, Ashraf Lazar and Mats Sells. And as I was saying there, changes in the area of the team that you would expect. The back 4, the goalkeeper, now look pretty settled. They've played a few games consecutively together. And Mo Diarmi is the interesting one for me tonight because he's not had a great start to his Newcastle career. He's missed a lot of chances, particularly at Aston Villa. He needs to have a good game to justify his inclusion at the expense of Perez, who did come in for some criticism on Saturday, but is still popular among the supporters.
Yeah, I don't think Perez did enough at the weekend to warrant staying in. You know, I think it's one of those things where we had. Seems to be a little bit of a problem. Was poor against Norwich, even though we won the game. I thought he was very poor. Wasn't great at Rotherham. Benitez then had the international break to think it over. He decided to bring Perez in there at the weekend, and he didn't set the world alight. You know, it was a big opportunity for him to go and sow a seed in the manager's head, so to speak. The manager obviously likes him. He thinks he's got a little bit of something, but he didn't do enough at the weekend for Warren staying in tonight. Always felt Ritchie was going to come back, and I think the reason Atsu played at the weekend, Razor, was the fact, you know, that Ritchie was ill. Yeah. I think if Ritchie hadn't have been picked up that virus, I don't think Atsu would have played because he tried. I think Shelby at this moment in time to shoe in. You know, you go through the spine of the team. You've got your 2 centre backs. He seems to have settled on the 2 centre backs in Clark and Lascelles. You've got Shelby. You've got Gale through the middle up top who's scoring the goals. You know, and then you build in around them. Gouffran seems to be nailed on at this moment in time. And again, because of what I said earlier, I think because of his work rate, his commitment, and he pops up with goals as well. You know, he scored important goals for us this season. So, you know, he's going to chop and change. There's going to be certain players that he'll chop and change, but there's going to be other ones who are, nailed on the start week in, week out.
Barnsley are out warming up in front of us at the moment. The Newcastle goalkeeper Carl Darlow is just facing some relatively tame shots from the goalkeeper coach Simon Smith. Matt Sells is out there as well. Here come the rest of the Newcastle team, warmly applauded by those visiting supporters who are already inside the ground, the north stand away to our left. There will be just under 6,000 black and whites here at Oakwell, and almost 2,000 will be inside St James's Park watching the game being beamed back. Fantastic support. Can't be surprised by that because they take large numbers wherever they go, but the Championship, you don't quite have the same exposure, the same kind of coverage as you do in the Premier League. So this is a big night for the fans, but what it is showing is the appetite they have for this team and for this season. And going back to what we were saying earlier about, is it better to be in the Championship winning every week than being in the Premier League and struggling like they have done really for the last 2 or 3 seasons? The supporters are starting to enjoy coming to games and watching games once again, and yes, it's because they're in the second tier and they're winning, but that's still a nice feeling for them to have.
Look, you always enjoy it when you're winning football matches. It doesn't matter which division you're in. If you're winning games week in, week out, it's an awful lot better feeling than coming away from games having lost again and again and again, because it gets you down. You end up going to games thinking, well, we're going to get beaten against them. We're going to lose here. But even though it is the Championship and we are where we are, the majority of supporters that come into games, home or away, expecting to win. Because we'll win here today. And that's all people are saying. Oh, we'll win. And of course, you're going to have the odd upset. Of course, you're going to lose the odd game here and there along the way. That's only to be expected. But you're going to win an awful lot more than lose.
And with that in mind, their away record this season has been very good. They've won 4 times away from St James's Park. Bristol City, when Dwight Gale got the winner, the 2-0 victory at Derby, put 6 past Queen's Park Rangers, and then their last away outing, also in South Yorkshire, where they are again tonight, 1-0 at Rotherham through that really good goal from Christian Atsu. And it's most unlike the Newcastle of recent to go away from home and win games, and again the caveat of being in a division below the Premier League, but to travel away with confidence is important. And a point we made at the start of Total Sport on BBC Newcastle at about 5:30, you've got to have a good away record to be near the top of the Championship, because if their away day troubles continued, there's no way they would be fighting to get into the top 2.
I think in this division it's hugely important that your home record is good, that you win your majority of home games. Now, we slipped up on our opening home game of the season. We slipped up on our opening away game of the season. We lost at Fulham. We then came back to St James's and we lost to Huddersfield Town. It wasn't a great start, but we've recovered very, very well since then. Now, you've got to win the majority of your home games, and then if you can go away from home and you can nick points here, a point here, 3 points there, you're not going to be far away. And that's the way that it's gone so far this season. Our away record's been decent. We've only conceded been good, and hopefully, fingers crossed, it continues here tonight at Barnsley.
7:45 kickoff at Oakwell here. The whole 90 minutes live and exclusive. Is here in South Yorkshire. Side. A nice hospitality suite here, but in large new seats. The stand we're in, it seems to be mainly made of wood. Corrugated iron.
I had to show you where to go, didn't I?
Yeah.
When we got here.
You did. Well, you know this ground well because you've been here. And
no, this stand well.
You know this stand well because probably when this stand was the new stand, well, you'll have played here. Now it's the oldest stand in the ground.
dressing rooms used to be down below. They moved them down into the corner. The dressing rooms were under this stand and they were tiny. And it's a real throwback, to be quite honest, Rosie. You know, you've got the turnstiles outside. They're not connected to the main stand. You get through the turnstiles, and then you're onto a concrete floor, and then you walk upstairs to the stand. So it's a neat little stadium. I mean, this is the one stand, I suppose, that lets it down. If they could redevelop this, it'd be a very, very tidy stadium. I think it's 23,000 that it holds, but it's a neat stadium, and there's going to be plenty good atmosphere in here tonight. Plenty of black and whites. I mean, they've travelled away in their numbers yet again, which doesn't surprise you. We've sold out all our away games, all our allocations. The support has been absolutely magnificent.
It is, like you say, a throwback, a reminder of what football and football grounds used to be like. And I asked one of the Barnsley stewards earlier where the toilets were, and they pointed to this little block, open air toilets. And then I suppose just to emphasise the point about the ground, she said, we're old school here. And they certainly not. Absolutely not. No, it is a nice ground, characterful, and home to Barnsley, 11th in the championship, without a win though in their last 5 league games. And in that winless run, they've conceded at least 4 goals twice. And Newcastle are the championship's top scorers. They've also got the biggest spread of goal scorers, Newcastle, in the league this season. 12 different players have found the net at one point, and some of them more than once for Rafa Benitez's side. And the 11 that the Spaniard has picked: Carl Darlow in goal, Vernon Anita, Jamal Lascelles, Kieran Clark, Paul Dummett, Matt Ritchie, John Joe Shelby, Isaac Hayden, Jan Gouffran, Mohamed Diarmi behind Dwight Gale. On the bench, Matt Sells, Ashraf Lazar, DeAndre Yedlin, Jack Colback, Christian Atsu, Jose Perez, and Alexander Mitrovic. We'll take you through the Barnsley team, tell you a bit more about their season after we've heard from the United goalkeeper, Carl Darlow. He told BBC Newcastle's Mick Lowe's, despite having a couple of weeks off before playing Brentford on Saturday, they didn't let their standards drop.
We had 2 very good results before the international break, and we needed to carry that on as soon as we came back from the international break. So to get the win Saturday was a very good performance, and I think we were solid throughout. So hopefully we can go to Barnsley tomorrow and repeat the victories that we've had in the last 3 games.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because you go 2-0 up and everybody wants you to put a show on, and I think we're all guilty of that. But it's all about just making sure you keep going.
Yeah, definitely. We needed the 3rd goal just after half time, I think, to really kill the game off. They came back with a goal about 5 minutes later, so we needed to see through a period of about 10-15 minutes just to make sure that we weren't going to be a bit nervy at the end at 3-2. So to keep it as it was, 3-1, and see the game out how we did, we got another big game Tuesday, so it was every game, and make sure that we keep grinding results.
You know the league better than most, obviously, having spent time at Forest. Do you think there's more football played in the Championship these days than there was once upon a time? A lot of people made a lot of Newcastle struggle with the physicality, but it seems to me there are a good few teams in there like to get it down and play.
Yeah, definitely. I think especially at the start of the season, teams will go through pre-season planning to play, and I think you'll find it will change around December, January time, where teams think, oh, we're in a bit of trouble here, or we're slipping down the league, and it might become a bit more physical. But like you say, at the minute, we've come up against a lot of footballing teams, really, and like I say, it's suited us because the talent we've got in this team, it's unbelievable. So we need to keep our approach to play football when we can, but like I said, against Rotherham, we needed to dig in, and we were able to do that as well.
And as you say, there are very different sides in the division. A Newcastle isn't a Burton, and a Burton isn't a Forest or whatever. You've really got to go horses for courses.
Yeah, definitely. We need to plan and have a different game plan for each match. So the work that we do on the training field with the gaffer is suited to each game, and I think you can see from his team selections that he's really thinking about the team that we're playing and the players that we're going to use. So it's, like I say, it's different circumstances for different teams, and as long as we come up with 3 points, no one cares today.
I mentioned the physicality there. I've spoken to a lot of outfield players about it. Is it different for goalkeepers? I mean, you know, if you believed everything you heard coming into this position, you'd think at every corner and every free kick, there'd be 10 6'5" monsters standing on your toe. Is it as bad as that?
No, I don't think so. I think obviously you're expected to get knocked about a bit as a goalkeeper in whatever you're playing, so it's part and parcel of the job, and we're expected. So it's you will get teams where you will have 3 or 4 in the box who are massive, and then other games they'll try and work the ball from the corner. So it's very much adjusted game by game, but it's not the hard hitting, I don't know, big long season. Maybe in associated with the Championship, though, it's a very good standard of football, and I think that's overlooked somewhat sometimes. People think you drop out of the Premier League, you only got to look at the number of teams that come straight back up. It's not as many as it should be, or people may think it will be. So it is a tough league. The games come thick and fast.
And in terms of the physical side of it, we saw it a few times on Saturday. You're clearly a keeper who, once he makes his mind up, is going.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's good to be positive from crosses and goals. Try and help out the defence as much as I can. I mean, they've been brilliant all season, to be honest with you. They've headed and won and blocked everything. So as far as shots coming at you so far, it's not as many as what was in the Premier League last year, but it's a different way of trying to help out the defence by taking corners, coming to through balls and things like that.
And he might need that on Tuesday night, because Barnsley, strangely for the position they're in the league, only Newcastle and Norwich have scored more goals. I mean, they do concede, but they don't score goals as well.
Yeah. I think they're attacking wise, they're very good. They're a threat, so we need to be on our game at the back, and we need to make sure that we deal with everything that they throw at us, whether that might be, like say, long balls, or whether they try and play through us. So it'll be a good game, because obviously we've got goals and we know we'll score at one end. So hopefully we can do a solid job on them and keep them out of the other end.
I'm going to ask you finally about, a lot of these grounds, it's into the unknown, as much as I say, for yourself. But when you've got 5,000, 4,000, 3,000, as many.
It is. It is, yeah. Nice. Nice.
Said, well, if you don't want it, I'll have it, and I'll spin, I'll turn, and I'll beat the keeper. Gouffran to find Gale. Little reverse balling. Gouffran coming onto it. Took a touch. Really should have hit it first time, I think. Now recycled. Here he is again. Deflected it in. Well, Jose Perez. They played it either way. The referee has spotted something. Well, he's got to have given handball against Perez, but to meet to hit Perez on the shoulder. Atsu gives it to Perez. Perez wide to Gouffran. Gouffran shelving, roaming up on the outside. Man in the middle, Dwight Gale. He's offside, is it? No offside. Dwight Gale has got his second of the game. McLeod gets ready with the second corner kick in as many minutes. Near post, flicked on at the back post, while Scott Hogan has stolen in. Hogan has got his 8th goal of the season.
The first half we had chances, we could score maybe the third goal and finish the game, but we didn't do it. We scored early, but they scored in the corner, and the game was a little bit open. We could see if they scored the second goal, it would be an open game again. So we needed to be sure that they were playing well, we were controlling, we were working hard in defence, and we did it.
North East Sport. Matthew Raisbeck and black and white legend John Anderson. BBC Newcastle, radio for the North East.
And you heard there the highlights from Saturday's 3-1 win over Brentford. Commentary was by Mick Lowe's. Not with us tonight, but we hope Mick will be back on BBC Newcastle for the match at home to Ipswich on Saturday. Welcome back to Oakwell. A reminder, 3 changes for Newcastle. Matt Ritchie, Mo Diarmi and Isaac Hayden come in for Christian Atsu, Ayoze Perez and Jack Colback, who are all on the bench at Barnsley. And they also make 3 changes to their team. And the key player probably coming back into the side for them is their captain, Conor Hourihane, who you may remember began his career at Sunderland but didn't play in the first team at the Stadium of Light. He went to Ipswich, then had 3 good years at Plymouth, and is now in his 3rd season at Barnsley. He's also their top scorer with 3 goals. He was an injury doubt, but is fit enough to take his place in the team. Also coming back in to the Barnsley starting lineup are defenders Adam Jackson, who will play at centre-half. Adam Jackson's from Darlington and started out at Middlesbrough and was on loan to Hartlepool last season. And James Bree plays at left-back. So here's the Barnsley team. Adam Davies, German-born Welsh qualified goalkeeper. He was in the Wales squad for their last round of World Cup qualifiers. Andy Yeardham will be at right back. Mark Roberts at centre half alongside North East lad Adam Jackson and James Bree at left back. On the right hand side, Ryan Kent, who's on loan from Liverpool. Then Conor Hourihane in the middle with Sam Morsey, who has an Egyptian father and has won 1 cap for his father's country. That was against Guinea in August. And Adam Hamill, another one of the danger men, has got Premier League experience with Wolves, now in his 3rd spell at Barnsley. He'll be on the left. And then there are 2 front men, both with 3 goals this season. Marley Watkins and the number 9, Sam Winnell, on the bench for Barnsley. Nick Townsend is the substitute keeper. Cole Pakawa is one of the players who drops out. He is a left back. Angus MacDonald, the centre half who played in the 4-2 defeat by Fulham here on Saturday, is also on the bench. He joined Barnsley from Torquay in the summer, and in January Angus MacDonald was on the verge of signing for Gateshead in the National League for just £10,000 or something around that kind of figure. Now he's playing in the Championship with Barnsley and doing rather well by all accounts. So he got a big move, a good move in the summer. Jared Bird.
I'm not eating dirty piece of pork and potatoes and cake.
I hope it hasn't got crackling on because of my teeth. I've chosen that one because